You belong on every ground your feet grace, so don't ever feel out of place. Take up space and belong. This earth is your birthplace. Hey loves, welcome back to the Sensual Genius YouTube channel. In this video, I'm going to give y'all a review of Really Love featuring Kofi Siriboe, Yutha Wong Loy Singh, Jade Eshett, Tristan Wilds, Michael Ealy, and Susan Douglas. It starts off with Isaiah at an art show. He goes in and browses the painting and comes across a woman who is mesmerized by it. They exchange words about it before she looks at him and sees his face, and like, y'all know how Kofi look, he is fine, and she like, oh. Because at first they're talking, but she ain't paying him no attention. But then she looks at him and she like is mesmerized. She reacted. I said she reacted the same way I did when I first saw him. She reacted the way all of us did. She was all of us when she saw him. They bond over the painting. Like they talk about it and kind of like go back and forth about how it makes them feel and what they think about it or what. Y'all know the typical like lingo and stuff like that they exchange back and forth when they're looking at art that I don't understand, but okay, I guess. He touches a charm that she has on her necklace and recognizes that it's West African. And I forgot what he asked. He asked her, he's like, is it West African? And I forgot which country she said. But while they're having a moment, they're interrupted by her cousin, Cicely, who is played by Notori Naughton. She introduces him, Stevie, which is the lady, introduces Isaiah to Cicely. Not by name, but like she was like, this is my cousin Cicely, but like he never says, hey, I'm Isaiah or whatever. And he just was like, nice to meet you. But before they go any further, he's called by Yusuf, Michael Ealy's character. Yusuf tells him he was looking at Stevie like he wanted to paint her. And while they're talking, they are interrupted by Shania, who's played by Uzo Aduba. I don't want to pronounce their names wrong. It's a lot of African names that I don't want to pronounce wrong. But correct me if I'm wrong. Yusuf introduces Isaiah to Shania. Then Yusuf leaves the two of them alone to go somewhere. Like he was called to do something because it's his art show. So he's the man of the hour. So like he was busy. So Shania asks Isaiah to walk with her. They go over to a painting Yusuf did. And she tells Isaiah that she saw his work because Isaiah is also a painter. She tells him if he wants her to represent him and get a solo show, he'll have to commit to 100% of the work. She also tells him she's having a group show in the next few months, and if he has something by then, she can include him. He tells her that would be good, then she leaves. He looks back over to the painting, but the girl is gone. The painting that him and her were bonding over, but she's gone. In the next scene, he tries to paint, but he doesn't like it, so he paints over it and walks away like he's frustrated. Then he goes for a run. After that running scene, he goes to a club and is talking to Mecca, who is Nick's girlfriend, and Nick is Mac Wild's character, even though it says his name is hold up, it's on the back of this. His actor name is Tristan Wilds, but we know him as Mac Wild. But his character is Nick, who is Isaiah's best friend. He has two best friends, so it's Nick and then Yusuf. And Mecca is Nick's girlfriend, and Mecca is also friends with Stevie, but Isaiah does not know that yet. So Nick shows up and joins Isaiah and Mecca. Mecca sees her friend Stevie and goes to speak to her, and Nick follows her. Isaiah is still standing in the spot that they were, and he sees them talking to Stevie, so he goes over to them. They're introduced to each other by name this time. And you can already see like the connection between them. I love movies that are able to show connection without sex. Like, you can visibly see somebody's interest in each other just by the energy and the way that they look at each other. Like, I love when they're able to convey it without there being sex involved. Like, if that's the only way you can convey people's emotions in your movies and stuff, are you really a good writer? Are you really a good director? That's how I feel. I like to see the eye contact because it says a lot. Like, you can tell a lot just by how people look at each other. But so Mecca and Nick go to get them a drink so they can be alone, because they kind of like see, they're looking like, oh, like they know each other, or like, look how they looking, so let's go and get a drink so we can leave them alone. When they come back, they make a toast before Nick goes on stage to introduce the go-go band to his club. So Isaiah and Stevie dance. Well, everybody dance. Isaiah and Stevie and Nick and Mecca. In the next scene, they're walking together, but the sun is out. Yeah, so it's kind of like the next morning. So I was confused. Like, so did they stay at the club all night dancing, or were they talking all night? And like the next morning, he's walking her home from the club. And I love the dialogue in the movie, like the way that they're talking to each other, because I feel like a lot of the times movies lose their impact because the dialogue is so flat. Like, the people be talking, but it don't be about nothing. But the dialogue in this movie was great from beginning to end. Like, the way the conversations that they had with each other, the way that they expressed themselves, you could tell that especially Isaiah was a creative, because he almost was like spit poetry sometimes. Like, I love dialogue that is heavy, that like has that heavy feeling in it. You know what I mean? Like, without not overbearing, but it's just heavy. Like, it just sits on you for a while and you like, that was deep or whatever. They talk about what they do, like their careers or whatever. He tells her he's an artist, and she tells him she's in law school. He walks her home. She thanks him and is about to go inside, but he stops her and asks for her number. She gives it to him. They kiss and part ways. And the kiss was kind of awkward, but rightfully so, because they're just meeting each other or whatever. In the next scene, Isaiah is sitting outside with his family after church. They have idle chatter about church service, and like the mama is gossiping about somebody. Y'all know, the typical church people at the church or whatever. Then out of nowhere, his dad asked him if he applied for the job the deacon recommended for him. He tells him he thought he said he wasn't applying. Like, I thought I told you I wasn't applying. And his dad asked him how he's going to support a family with paintings. He asked his dad, what family? He like, what you, the typical older black folk, they grilling you about what you gonna do about a family you don't even got. How you gonna be a good wife to your husband? Bro, I'm not married. Why are you asking me questions like this? And he like, what family? Like, I literally don't have no kids. I'm not in a relationship. Why are you questioning me about stuff like this when it's these hypothetical kids? I feel like we as a society are always planning for hypothetical situations, and it's weird to me. Like, you can't even live in a moment because every decision you make is for your future husband, your future kids and stuff. And I know some stuff matters, some things that you do matters when it comes to that, but not everything, and like not really. And why are you living for hypothetical people that you don't even know? It's weird to me. But his sister tells his dad to let him get a woman first. Like, chill out. He ain't even got a girlfriend first. Like, you tripping. His dad says, let me find out you like being broke. And he got tired of his dad putting him down, and he goes in the house. He's like, bruh, shut up, and like leaves. In the next scene, Mecca and Stevie are catching up at Mecca's coffee shop. She asks Stevie what's up with her. Stevie tells her that she likes working at the law firm, but she doesn't know if she wants to be a big shot lawyer. But it's what her dad wants. Mecca says she's like, I'm my family's worst nightmare since I went from having multiple degrees to pouring coffee. Like, I literally own a coffee shop. So like, you ain't saying nothing. Stevie tells her to stop because she's doing great. Mecca changes the subject and tells Stevie she saw how Isaiah was looking at her. Stevie tells her that Isaiah asked her on a date, but she mentions not having time, but says she's going to go because it's just a date. Like, it's just a date, right? It's not nothing serious. So I'm gonna just go and see what he talking about. Cause who gonna say no to him? Like, So in the next scene, it goes to Isaiah and Yusuf in the studio talking about art. Yusuf asks Isaiah if he's done with the piece for the show the art dealer invited him to, and he tells him he's still stuck. Yusuf tells him he needs to be inspired. Isaiah asks how he stays inspired, and he tells him from living. Like, I live life, and I get inspired by my life. Yusuf tells Isaiah that he can't expect to find inspiration being cooped up in the house. He also tells him he needs to separate his studio from his living space in order to be an artist. In the next scene, Stevie is doing her lawyer thing, arguing about the unfairness Blacks and Latinos face when it comes to housing in America and why it's a problem. After she's done, the judge is pretty much speechless. Like, she just gives this speech that like blows everybody away, and like nobody has anything to say. And she's standing there and she's like confident. Like, I really took the words out of y'all mouth. Like, I know what I'm talking about. So it shifts to Isaiah and Stevie on their date. It's a picnic at the park. And it looks like they're having a good time. Like, they have chemistry. They had chemistry from the very beginning, but like things just kind of flow easily between them. And it looks like they're enjoying each other's company. He tells her he wants to show her something. They walk to an art studio and he shows her some of his paintings. She admires one of them and he tells her it isn't finished yet. She's shocked by that because it looks finished to her. Then she walks over to a painting that is covered. He tells her he hasn't shown it to anyone yet. Then he gives her permission to look at it. She asks if she's like, can I look at it? He's like, sure. She's in awe of it. She tells him it looks like another painting, another painter. Like, she's telling him like, you remind me of this painter. And I should have wrote the name down, but I couldn't. But I didn't, so I don't know. I can't remember. And he tells her like, yeah, I'm inspired by him. Like, he's my inspiration. Like, he kind of is like happy that she kind of sees the inspiration. She asks him, how does he know when a painting is finished? And he asks, how do you know when you're making love? Like, and I was like, what I got to do with paintings? I was like, what I got to do with art? What kind of analogy is that? How do you know when a painting, if it is finished? How do you know when you're making love? And I understand what he was trying to say. Like, you just know. You just know. You know when you know. You just know. It ain't no, there's no like things that you can pinpoint to say when it is, but you just know when it is. Then he goes to kiss her and they have sex. In the next scene, Stevie receives a painting from him, so she calls and asks if he could come over and wrap it up for her. He comes over and they find a special place to hang it. She tells him it's perfect. Then it shows like their relationship progressing. Like, you know how on movies they'll just go to different scenes of them dating or whatever. They go on a double date with their friends and they try to show each other up. Like Mecca and Nick is kissing, they going back and forth and doing different things, saying different things to each other or whatever. It was cute. The next scene, his dad and him are painting the living room. He asks about his job search. And his dad asks about his job search and he tells him he's about to get representation from someone to sell his painting and he might get a solo show soon. But his dad doesn't say anything, so he just walks away. Next, it goes to Stevie and him at his art show. Mecca and Nick come there to support. They're marveling over his painting. Mecca takes a picture of them, Stevie and him, in front of the painting. And then they all took one by the sign with his name on it. He runs into a friend who announces he's having a solo show, and it's a white boy. And he seems a little jealous. He tells Stevie he's going to talk to Shania because it's like, I know I'm a better artist than him. How is he getting a solo art show? That doesn't make sense to me. She tells him his painting looks good, but she thinks he can do better. So she pretty much is not satisfied. She's trying to push him further. Like, you got more in you and I just want you to pull it out. Just keep going. They leave the art show and sit on the stoop and smoke. Stevie tells him she called. Oh yeah, Stevie is like, you called me your girlfriend in there. Like, did you realize that you called me your girlfriend in there? But he didn't say anything. Like, he just was like, and then it goes to them having sex. He tells Shania, then it goes to another scene of him telling Shania he doesn't think he's ready for a solo show. She tells him to show her that he has something. No, he tells Stevie Shania doesn't think he's ready for a solo show. I think he was quiet during that moment where she brought up him calling her his girlfriend because he was in his head about what happened at the art show. And like, after they had sex, like, he tells her Shania doesn't think he's ready for an art show. And she tells him to show her that he has something to say. Like, show her she's wrong. She tells him she wants him to move in with her. He asks if they're ready for it. She says they spend every night together, so you might as well move in. And she like, you can work at the studio and you can stay here. Yusuf and Isaiah talk about why he didn't get the solo show, but the white boys he went to school with already got one and they aren't as good as him. Yusuf tells him he has to be a unicorn in order to get his solo show. So they're acknowledging that even in this space, as black men, even though you're a really good artist, the white boys get chosen over you. A lot of times it's because of who they know. It's because of privilege and stuff like that. And it's a struggle for it. He was saying how much of a struggle it was. Like, he's comparing himself to these people and like, it's like, I know I'm better than him. And even the white boy acknowledged that he was better than him. He was like, my art is not nearly as good as yours, but he got a solo show. And it's like it's unfair. Like, why is that a thing? And Yusuf is like, you really got to be a unicorn in order to get your solo show. Like, you got to show her there's nobody like you. There's no other you. And I feel like he does, but at the same time, he second guesses himself a lot because he wants to be good. He wants to be great. He wants to make a big name for himself, but he has a hard time believing that he has that in him. So he struggles through that. Stevie and Isaiah are talking about their careers. Stevie tells him she doesn't know if going to law school is worth it. He tells her he thinks it'll matter if she goes. She says she wants to be more like him sometimes, bold in his opinions and his work. He says he doesn't feel like his work is enough. Like, she sees him as this like great artist and like this carefree person that is confident in themselves, but he doesn't see that, and he doesn't feel like he's good enough still. He doesn't feel like he's doing enough. And she sees it, but he doesn't. So in the next scene, she takes him to meet her parents. Her mom is like rude from the beginning. Like, she's very judgy from the beginning. She goes in the house and she asks her mom where her dad is, and she goes straight to see her father. You can tell she's like a daddy's little girl or whatever. She introduces Isaiah to him and leaves them alone to talk. Of course, they bring up his work because parents are going to do that. They want to make sure you can take care of their child. Isaiah's, when they're at the table talking and Stevie's mom is getting down on her about her career, Isaiah stands up for her, about her wanting to help people, because her mom is like, it's cool to want to help people and it's good to help people, but you need to be doing stuff that sets you apart from everybody else. But she wants to do work that matters. She doesn't want to just be a lawyer and get, win cases and work for big firms. She really want to put in work, but her mama feels like that dream is like a pipe dream, basically. Like, it's just a dream. You need to be at the best law firms. Forget helping people. And it's like, but that's really her job. So like, what are you saying? When they leave and go to the gas station, he has to get her card to pay for it, and it bothers him. Like, you can visibly see him feeling emasculated by the fact that he doesn't have the money, and like, he has to rely on her for simple things. It really bothers him, and I feel like that's one of the things that kind of got in between their relationship. His insecurities in himself to take care of her, or to even take care of himself, honestly. They go to dinner with their friends and are invited to a fish fry, but Isaiah says he can't go because he has a piece to finish. He seems depressed and stressed out. Stevie go out with Mecca and Cicely, but she's been daydreaming the whole time, like not paying attention to what they're talking about or whatever, because she's thinking about him. They ask her what's wrong. She tells them that Isaiah has been stressed out about finishing his painting, and she wishes she knew how to help him. They tell her men can only focus on one thing at a time, which is true. So, like, if he focused on getting his career off the ground, the chances of him paying attention to that relationship is slim. Cicely tells her that she just took him to meet her parents. Like, you know how your parents are. Knowing that he was broke. And you know how your parents are. She said he's a man, so he wants to take care of you, not the other way around. That's why he's stressed out. Isaiah is still working on his painting. He shows Shania, and she finally likes it. His spirit is lifted a bit. Stevie and him have dinner, and he announces that he finally has his solo show, but realizes he still has a lot of work to do because this one painting is not it. I gotta have multiple paintings if I want a solo show. The two of them dance after dinner to celebrate the news. Like, he gotta win, even though he knows he still gotta work hard. He gotta win, so they're celebrating. Stevie gets a phone call from Dr. Clark telling her about all of the firms she got accepted to. One is in Chicago, so she's apprehensive about it since she's in a relationship. But the doctor tells her she doesn't turn down opportunities like that one. Like, you can't turn this down. You have to go. Don't nobody care about your relationship. She tells him thank you and hangs up. In the next scene, Isaiah is painting, so she shows up to a ballet recital without him, and her parents are disappointed. Isaiah apologizes for not showing up, and she tells him it's fine, but she clearly is bothered by the fact that he's not making time for her and he's putting his career first and not putting effort into their relationship. She sheds some tear at the ballet recital and feels some type of way that he's been coming home late. They go for a run and things are awkward at first, but she breaks the news that she's going to Chicago for the interview for the big firm. He tells her it's great, but he thought she was sticking with the firm she worked for locally. She tells him she figured it wouldn't hurt to go. He asked her how things would work between them, and she said they'd figure it out. Isaiah is finally at his first solo show. Shania introduced him to the public. His family, friends, and Stevie are there to support him. He gives a speech, but only gives thanks to Shania for helping him finally get the show. Even though Stevie had been encouraging him and pushing him and instilling that confidence in him when he didn't have it, he completely just forgets to thank her when he's giving his speech, and it bothers her. He gets his first big check, and Shania tells him don't let it go to his head and causes him to lose his talent. In the next scene, Stevie is talking to her mother about the opportunity in Chicago, and she tells her not to put anyone first who would never do the same for her. Isaiah asks her how the interview went, and she says she's not sure if it's right for her, but it went well. You can tell she wants him to tell her not to go, but instead he's just, he won't say it. And I hate when women do that, when women expect men to read their mind and say something that you know he wouldn't say without you telling him how you feel about something. Like, how is he going to know that you want him to be like, look, I don't want you to go. I want you to be here with me. And I feel like in his mind, he wants her to choose for herself. He don't want to have to put the pressure on her for her to do that. He wants her to make the decision, but she wants him to be like, don't go, to like fight for their relationship. And it's like, how do you expect somebody to do that when you're not telling them like how you really feel? Like, you keeping all of the things that you aren't happy about, you keep it to yourself. You expect him to know on his own, and you expect him to read your mind and tell you not to go to something that he feels is a good opportunity for you, so he don't want to stand in your way. It's difficult. That makes relationships hard. Just talk. Be upfront about how you feel. She asks him what he thinks about the job, and he tells her he thinks she should take it. She is disappointed in his answer. He tells her it's an opportunity of a lifetime and it's what she was waiting for. Things get awkward between them. Both of them are holding things in. When they get ready to go to bed, he tries to have sex, but she's not in the mood. He feels some type of way. She tells him he can't just show up and expect them to be cool. Like, you've been gone all this time and then you want to come back and think that I'm just going to have sex with you. That's not how it works. He asks her what she means, and she tells him he's never there. And when he's there, he's never there. Like, you're not here. When you're here, you're not here mentally. He tells her he's been working towards this opportunity his whole life, so he can't mess it up. Then he asks her what has she cared about deeply for real. She's appalled by his question because, for one, he is what she cares about that deeply for real. Like, it's like, number one, my career is important to me too. Don't try to make it seem like you have this undying love for your career and I don't. But I feel like he feels like that because she complains about it a lot. But it's not necessarily complaining. I think she's really trying to figure out if this is not necessarily if she wants to be a lawyer, but what she wants to do as a lawyer. And she opens up to him about it. And he kind of uses that against her. Like, you don't even like what you do for real. Like, you complain about it. So you don't understand. He feels like she doesn't understand how he feels, because he really cares about this. This is something that he's always wanted his whole life. And he feels like she should understand why he's putting so much effort into that and not their relationship. But it's like, huh? Like, that doesn't make sense. You can do both. But like Cicely said, men can only focus on one thing at a time, and that's true. That's why you shouldn't get into a relationship until you're happy in your career. Because y'all can't multitask. She tells him, no. He tells her he can't mess this opportunity up because he don't have people with money to fall back on. She tells him F him and asks if he still wants their relationship, and he tells her he's there, right? Like, I'm here. Like, he's being so mean to her. Like, he's being really mean. Like, all of his insecurities are like pouring out of him, and he's making her it seem like she doesn't get his struggle because she comes from money. And it's messed up because she's been there supporting him. Like, she ain't even putting the pressure on his back to be a provider. She's very much okay with providing. She just wants him to show up for their relationship. That's all she's asking. She doesn't want him to feel stressed out about paying bills and stuff like that. When when you're a creative, when you're an artist, you're not making money like the person who has like jobs lined up for them. I don't think whether you're a man or woman, there's nothing wrong with relying on your spouse to help you financially if that's what they want to do. But I get where he's coming from because he's a man, so men are expected to be providers. But I feel like that mindset is why we don't get along. Like, it literally is. On one end, men be saying that they don't want to just be providers, but they get insecure about certain things when it comes to financial things. If the woman is the breadwinner, or if she's taking care of everything financially, you're insecure because you feel like you're emasculated because she's taking care of you. And I don't get that. It's like, it's a partnership. If you're in a position where you can't put money into the relationship and I can, why can't I do that and you be good and you like focus on what you're doing, but we can still have a good relationship? Why do you gotta make it about societal standards of what the roles that we're supposed to play? And on one hand, y'all say y'all want a woman who can hold y'all down when y'all don't got it, but when y'all get a woman like that, y'all resent her for doing it. It don't make sense. You gotta pick a side. You want the support? You want to be held down when you're not able to show up financially, or you want to feel like a man? Because that's really all y'all care about. And whatever that means, you can literally, it's so many different ways to provide for somebody, but y'all think that financial is the only way, and that's the block that y'all have that be putting pressure on the disconnect. That's why we're so disconnected, because y'all have this idea of what being a man is. And I do feel like women have an idea of what being a woman is. I think it's all stupid. I'm tired of hearing about manhood and womanhood and masculinity and femininity. I'm sick of those words because y'all don't know what y'all talking about. Y'all literally be reciting things that y'all have heard people say over and over and over again, and y'all ingrain that junk in your heads until y'all don't know how to function outside of that. And it's toxic. And that's why we don't get along now. And that's why their relationship messed up. That's why their relationship wasn't as strong as it could be, because of those traditional values. And plus, I understand he had pressure on him. His dad was always making him feel like he wasn't man enough. Shania was making him feel like his art wasn't good enough, so that means I can't make no money right now because my art not making money. She don't think it's good enough. And then you have this woman who is like, that's cool, you can live with me, I can take care of things, we good. But you don't trust that because you're waiting for the other shoe to drop. You're waiting for her to be like, I'm tired of taking care of you, you got to get your money. And she ain't even thinking financially. She ain't even thinking about, I'm taking care of this nigga. She just want you to be there with her. She just wants you to want to be there. She just wants you to focus on y'all's relationship. And you can't do that because you're so stuck on what being a man is. It's not is not conducive to the growth of your relationship, or either your growth. You're stunning your own growth by holding these traditional values. We're not in the 1960s. We're not. It's not that deep no more. Like, y'all say y'all want somebody to hold y'all down, but when y'all get it, y'all don't know how to receive it. It's weird. But it's always going to be an ongoing thing, because I don't see things changing. I think it's going to stay the same, and we're going to keep having these stupid conversations. He says he doesn't fit into her life plans, and she says she isn't the only one. He isn't the only one with dreams. Like, I got dreams too. Like, what do you mean? But it kind of feels to me like she doesn't fit into his life plans, and he's deflecting because she never ever said that he didn't fit. He feels that way because he doesn't feel he's good enough for her. And that's really what it all boils down to. He doesn't feel like he's good enough for her. He doesn't feel like he's good enough, period, for himself, for his career, for his family. He doesn't feel good enough, period. But he's putting all of the pressure, saying that it's her who feels this way, but she never did anything to make him feel like that. It's really his own insecurities just spilling out, and he resents her for showing up, like, for wanting to work things out. It's weird to me. Like, she literally is giving you an easy ride, and you're making it complicated because you're insecure. But I also understand where he's coming from, but you can't take your feelings out on somebody. She tells him she's taking a position in Chicago, and he asks her when was she going to tell him, and she like, I'm telling you now. And he asked her, why did she ask his opinion if she already made up her mind? And she really didn't make up her mind, but she's just saying this out of anger. She's saying this because she's angry because he's being mean to her, and she didn't do anything to deserve him being that way toward her. He says he probably is the last one to know, and he bets her mom is ecstatic. Like, I bet your mama happy. Like, I'm probably the last one to know, and I bet your mama happy because she don't want you to be with me anyway. This just gives you a reason to be without me. She kicks him out, and he like, that's right. Like, it's your house. I was waiting for you. I was waiting for you to do this, because he really was waiting for her to be like, get out because you're not pulling your weight. But he literally pushed her to do that. And now he feels justified in resenting her because she finally did what he was afraid that she was going to do. And it's all her fault because she kicked him out, when really you pushed her to do that. But now you can feel good about you not trusting that she really had your back, when it was really your insecurities come out. And I was like, bro, you done messed up a good thing. So neither of them are like able to sleep. He leaves and goes to the studio, and neither of them are like able to sleep because they're both hurt. They're really hurt. They said some mean things to each other. Like, I don't understand why whenever we argue with each other, we just go hit below the belt. It's so mean. Like, if you love a person, why are you saying these mean things when you get mad? I think that's why you say it, because you love them. You're saying it because you love them, and you're frustrated that things are not working out, and you're afraid. You're operating out of fear. So you say things to push that person away rather than to deal with your fears, which is crazy to me. But let's move on so we don't take up too much time on this. Shania is on the phone with someone bragging about Isaiah's work. She tells him they need to increase his output to about 20 to 3 pieces a year to secure placement and collections all around the world. Isaiah seems to be in the zone now. Like, he got that little he was waiting for, and now he in the zone. Now he that unicorn that Yusuf told him he had to be. I guess And also because that situation that he went through with Stevie has given him inspiration because his heart's broken. Like, he got out, he lived his life, he did some living, and it worked. It inspired his work. He has flashbacks of his relationship with Stevie, and he is sad. Like, he got the job that he wanted, and this is what always happens in relationships. You put this thing on a pedestal. You even go against your partner. You treat your partner like they're your enemy because this thing is more important to you than them. You go after this thing. You neglect them to go after it. And then when you get it, you realize this ain't even what I really wanted. This doesn't even make me happy. I literally messed up a relationship with a good person for something that doesn't even make me happy. 1 year goes by and Nick is talking to Isaiah about his progress. He tells him he's happy for him. He asks him to go out and get beers, but Isaiah declines. He asks Nick if he can take a rain check until he gets back from a trip he has in Chicago. Nick asks him if he talked to Stevie and he says no. Nick seems to be more heartbroken than he is. Like, I feel like Isaiah is numb at this point. He spent a year without her, and like, he's just been in artist mode, and like, he's not thinking about nothing else because that's the only way for him to move forward with his life, to get over her, is to concentrate on his career. Nick seems to be, I say he already said that. After an awkward silence, Nick tells him he'll see him later since he's busy. So now he's putting this thing above everybody, even his friendships. They hug each other and Nick tells him he loves him before he leaves. It's a sweet moment. You could tell that Nick really wants the best for him, but he can't really get through to him because Isaiah is numb now. Isaiah is at his show in Chicago and Stevie shows up with the guy she's dating. The two of them speak to each other. Her boyfriend introduced himself since she did. He asks how they know each other and Isaiah says they're old friends. Then he thanks them for coming and tells her it was really good to see her. Stevie is looking at one of his paintings in her house and smiling at it. Isaiah gives her a phone call to invite her to his second solo show in DC. He says there's something he wants her to see. He also says he wants to catch up. They meet in a bar. He says he didn't think she'd come, but he's happy to see her. She told him she read his interview and says it was great. He asked her if she was happy, and she tells him not to ask her that. Then he asks her if she has plans for the night. She says no, so they go to his place and have sex. She tells him she missed him, and he tells her he loves her. Then he says he missed being with her. His phone rings, and she asks him to lay with her, but he answers the phone. She gets upset and gets ready to leave since he was still busy with his art. So it's kind of like nothing has changed. This still comes before me. He tells her not to leave and says he knows she still feels something. She told him if he would have asked her to stay, she never would have left. So he asked her to now, and she says he's so in love with her. Then he kisses her, but she still leaves. It's like, it's too late. I wanted you to ask me that a year ago. Now it's too late. We've already settled into our careers. I can't just abandon what I've been doing for the past year. She goes to see her mom and she asks her if she's going to tell her what's going on, because her mom can tell something is clearly wrong. She asks her mom what she means, and she explains that she never just pops up at her house like that. Then her mom gives her this speech about people being in our lives for only a season and tells her about a similar situation she was in when she was younger and tells her she'd do it over again if she could. Basically, like, encouraging her to take a chance on love, but it's like, it's a little too late. You literally have been telling this girl to choose her career over love, and now you're saying the opposite. It's like, what? You could have told me that before my relationship got messed up, but you didn't because you didn't like who I was with. So, Stevie shows up at Isaiah's solo show, but Shania pulls him away before they get to talk. She's annoyed by it. She goes up to a painting he painted of her while everyone conveniently moves out of the way. It ends with her just like staring at the painting. I think he's behind her staring at her, and it just kind of goes off there. So I don't know if it's going to be a part 2 or if it's just going to end with, because that's the thing that he wanted to show her. That's why he invited her to the show, because he wanted to show her the painting that he did of her. I give this movie a 9 out of 10, but I wish the ending was different or longer. Like, I wish they resolved things in the end. I can't stand when movies end in relationships, when it's a romance movie and like the relationship is still like up in the air and you don't know what's going to happen. A lot of the times they don't come back and finish it. So you're like, okay, what happened? They don't give an update or nothing like that. So I didn't give it 10 because of that reason. Like, I just didn't like the ending. It wasn't fulfilling to me for their relationship to be so like back and forth, and for all of the things that they have gone through to end it like that was a cheat. Like, you cheated us out of closure. I wanted closure, and I feel like they deserved it. It was really good. I like that it showed two people with different paths crossing paths with each other and falling in love, but that love getting disrupted by their careers and different outlooks on life and like their different backgrounds, and also fear. Fear comes in the way a lot. That happens a lot in real life, so I thought it was dope that the movie conveyed it properly. And I love when Black romance movie do regular Black people, and it's not over the top. Nobody is selling drugs, nobody is doing something illegal. It's not a Bonnie and Clyde type of vibe, or it's not a Romeo and Juliet type of vibe, but two people coming from different sides of the world trying to fall in love, trying to have a relationship, but their upbringing, their lifestyle, different lifestyles get in the way, and a lot of their insecurities, their outlooks on life, the way they see themselves, and a lot of things like that. I just think that it was conveyed perfectly. I just wish it ended differently. But it was a good movie nonetheless. If you guys have seen this movie, let me know what you think about it. And if you haven't seen it and you go watch it after you see this, come back and let me know what you think about it. It was on Netflix if y'all want to check it out. It's a beautiful love story. I think that y'all should definitely check it out and let me know what y'all think. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you think about this video. Let me know what you think about these reviews, if you want me to keep them coming, and also what other content do you want to see from me. I think soon I will start doing old romance movies that we love, the movies that we put on a pedestal and we judge our relationships by, and deconstruct them to kind of expose the toxicities in those, and why we should not put them on a pedestal and model our relationships after them. I'm gonna start a series doing that. Let me know what y'all think about that. But thank you for watching this video. Like I said, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you think. I will see you in the next video. Bye. Before you go, check out my website at srgraham.org and subscribe to my mailing list to get exclusive updates on works in progress, other news, and blog posts. Thank you.